Clarity.
Yeah, we're recording it. It's me and Ulysses waiting for Pamela. We're covering the election. And I think both of us agree so far, Clinton is not doing as well as I expected, certainly, in the early running.
Yes. Yeah, she should have did better than she did. I don't get it.
I get the sense she's certainly running behind Obama. But like the New York Times, and we all have different sources, the New York Times is still saying that her chances of winning are over 70%. So the odds still seem to be favoring her to win. A little disappointed, the same source, this is the New York Times, saying that the Senate is like 70% likely to go Republican. And that's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
They're talking about electoral votes. Now, I see it says there and there. You see the Obama? Can you see what I'm looking at? What I'm looking at?
Yep.
Now, if I look at that, it shows she's actually doing better in the Electoral College than Obama did. Now, Obama was running against the sane human beings. She had a slight advantage.
I've got 63.5% reporting in the state of Virginia, and Trump's up 52% by 1,066,954 to her 953,000. That's just
And in fact, in the popular vote, according to the Times, she's doing better than Obama by
they're not doing
3-4% at this moment. That's close. She's running right about what Obama did last time, 2012. I thought it would be I thought she'd win by a much larger margin, but of course, it's still only 8:45. So that means it's like what, almost 5 o'clock out on the West Coast.
Well, I'm looking at the Florida breakdown, and Trump's ahead by 100,000 for 104,000 votes. Obama got 4,235,000, and he won. Trump's got 4,288,000, so he's got more than Obama had
at this point in time.
Last election. So
wait a minute.
Turnout is.
You're telling me that Trump has more votes, total votes right now, than Obama got in 2012? That's not right.
I'm looking at the Washington Post detail results.
Right
now, Clinton's got 4,191,000, and Mitt Romney had 4,162,000.
They're saying Trump's got over 4,000 votes. 4 million votes.
Trump's got 4,302,000 right now, and Hillary has 4,191,000. So she's a little. Well,
don't forget
110,000 behind, but this is a lot more turnout than Obama in the 2012.
Yeah.
I can't believe I would figure Florida would go for Hillary.
I don't know what they forecast. Right now, their forecast, the Senate 72% chance. I don't know. It's closer than I thought it would be. Let's see if I can go back to the states.
Yeah, you can click on the individual states.
Florida. Okay, Florida. Oh, that's just in Florida you were talking about.
Yeah.
Not the election overall. Okay. That's close. That's way too close to call.
They're predicting Virginia to go Democrat, but it's still in a Republican control. They're predicting Michigan, she's at 49%.
Okay,
45.
If I look at states, I know, well, what we expected.
Hey, Pam.
Pamela's here.
Hello, sorry, I'm mute. Sorry, I'm late.
Okay.
We're home.
Oh, now you're invisible.
Not to me. You've got a rainbow there. You're in your rainbow helmet.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm in a
Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea. How are you? Hello.
That's Uncle Ulysses.
We're all bald white guys.
Yes.
Bald white guys. That's what should be.
Yeah, her dad's a bald white guy, so that's all right.
Now that you're here,
Greetings.
me and Ulysses. Ulysses is getting perhaps a little bit more uncomfortable than I am.
I'm very uncomfortable.
But Clinton is not doing as well in the early going
Like I thought
as we had thought. The New York Times is still saying she's got a 70% chance of winning. So now I got a question for you. We were going to get to at some point, Pamela, is what are the Aussies saying about this election, if anything? Big whoop, who cares?
Oh, no, we care because you guys have got the nukes. But we don't want either Hillary or Trump to get in. Why isn't everyone just voting for Jill Stein?
She's... what did it for me? I was thinking about going for Jill Stein, but then her vice president she picked was someone with no political experience, some woman from the UN, and I said, there's no way. I mean, I'm not going to vote for someone unless I think they can actually run the country. And I look at that team and I say, no way, Jose. Are these two people able to vote the country? They're too far left wing, if I may use that term. So I voted. I wanted Sanders, so that's why I voted for Clinton. Ulysses, why'd you vote for Clinton?
Well, I'm with you. She has, even Stein has, she has really only served on a city council, and in a country this large, she has like zero experience. Hillary has at least served as Secretary of State, and that's a real strenuous office. You don't go into the White House without having some sort of federal governance or gubernatorial experience on some sort of massive level. It's nothing personal. I mean, I guess it is personal because you have to have some sort of experience.
So you think Hillary did a good job as Secretary of State, did you?
I'm not saying she's perfect, but she has way more. She's not my first choice. I voted for Bernie. I'd rather have Bernie than Jill Stein because Bernie has a lot more experience than she does.
Yeah, and the two biggest issues and the reason
Did you see Pamela's eyes when I said that? She's like, "Oh my God."
Well, I'm not a big fan.
I don't vote for war criminals. I would have voted for Jill Stein for sure. I mean, that's why you have advisors around you. Morality is more important to me than experience. Experience you can get. Morality, you either have it or you don't.
Let's see.
Well, sometimes you have to make bad calls. And
let us take a look at Green Party platform. Okay, as of August 2016, I'm going to screen share with you guys. Okay. Now, let's see. I guess I got to click on something. The big thing would be for you, Pamela, I'm assuming, is foreign policy. Foreign policy. Start of the United States in the conflict between East and West, a future marked by the aftermath of 9/11, global terrorism, blah, blah, blah.
Actually, Jill Stein would be good, but she, like I said, she has no experience.
As we overcome
She has no allies
in
in
violence,
Congress.
we
She'd have
realize the
zero
difficulties
allies.
inherent. Okay, so the foreign policy. As one of the initiators and primary authors of the United Nations Charter, the United States is obligated to conform to the stipulations of the United States Congress. Okay, don't tell me anything there. We recognize our government's obligation to take disputes and other nations or foreign bodies to the UN Security Council. So she's saying the mechanism for settling any disputes we have should be through the United Nations. The U.S. is obligated to render military assistance or service under the UN. So we seek to permanently repeal the veto power of the 5 prominent members, abolish nuclear weapons, let's see, we urge the government to sign the Toronto Treaty banning stockpiling of landmines. We must allow foreign teams for verification purpose. Our defense budget, way too high. Okay, all right, basically, as I see it, the United Nations is not yet the mechanism by which international disputes can be settled. You have, I mean, even if I can't see the United States ceding, in effect, its foreign policy to the United Nations at this point. Now, you get rid of the Russian empire, the China. Well, Russia doesn't have an empire, but if they have a government that's willing to do this, willing to cede its foreign policy disputes to the UN. China's got an empire. China also agrees to this. So you have Russia, the United States, and China agreeing to this. Okay, I'll buy it. China's not going to do that. And Russia's not going to do that. And we still have too many terrorists, such as ISIS, who are targeting America. That would also be a key thing in that, looking at terrorist attacks. The potential is certainly there. We haven't had an ISIS terrorist attack in the United States, to my knowledge, but that threat is there. ISIS is not going to go along with the United Nations. They don't care. So I'm going to summarize and say that on foreign policy, I disagree with the idea of ceding our foreign policy to the United Nations. Pamela may be frozen or stuck or something.
I don't know.
Here she is. Well,
I feel kind of bad that,
you know, I might
like
just
to vote for Jill Stein. I don't know. I just have, just like if, yeah, a lot of people have a lot of skills. I mean, I think Bill Whalen would be the best presidential candidate.
Oh,
Hey, welcome back.
I hope you heard my.
am I back?
Yes, you're back. I can hear you. I can see you.
I don't know.
Well, Pamela, to answer your question, what it came down to with Jill Stein, the Green Party, and foreign policy, she would have a foreign policy that, as I read it, would cede Americans' foreign policy to the United Nations. She's saying all disputes should be settled through the United Nations. I think it's a great idea, but until China, Russia, the Middle Eastern countries, until they agree, then I think that would be a mistake. So at this point in time, I am not willing to cede America's foreign policy to the United Nations.
What was the other option? Wasn't there Gary Johnson? I don't know much about him.
He's a libertarian.
He's a libertarian, and Gary Johnson isn't the brightest guy. His running mate, Bob Whelan, now would have been a perfect candidate. He's eloquent. He's intelligent. He was a governor out of the 120 cases he tried, and what is it? As a federal prosecutor, he won 109 of them. He's really intelligent. He would have been a great guy. He's socially liberal, fiscally conservative. But it's the Libertarian Party. They're mainly made up of whack jobs and nuts. So it's kind of hard for for anybody to vote for them. And the thing with Jill Stein is, as much as I probably would have voted for her, there's a lot more people voting for Trump that would have tarred her as a communist, and basically she's a socialist and would never win in this nation. Hillary is very moderate, regardless of what Bernie forced her to become. I think I would have thought a lot of people would have seen that, but this electoral cycle has been so disgusting that everybody's basically turned off. But there's actually more voting for Trump now than Obama, so there's a lot of racist people. I would have never imagined that much.
A vote for Clinton or Trump is a vote for white United States citizens. That's it. They stand for white United States citizens. That's anyone else they don't stand for. So Gary Johnson, Jill Stein, frickin' Mickey Mouse, and I hate Disney, would have got my vote over those two. And I mean that.
I love that Mickey Mouse, and I hate Disney.
We've done Meaningless Words episodes about Disney. They're like frickin', that's another story. But I'd choose, well, I mean, I put a post up, I know it was satire, on my Facebook about, even Queen Elizabeth II would be better. And I despise the royal family and monarchy, and they're a bunch of criminals as well. But I'd choose QE2 over either of them. Yeah, no, they're just the worst of the worst. And was it Megan? One of my friends, Megan in Portland, Oregon, she posted something, a meme about, isn't there a cheaper way than spending billions of dollars to find the two worst Americans to choose from? And I suggested, in all seriousness, and you're going to laugh, what about a presidential Big Brother? Stick all the candidates in a house, right? So advertising revenue pays for the campaign. They don't have people protecting them and watching what they say. So you get cameras on them 24/7, and you get to hear the real them. You get to hear them under pressure, living with each other, debating. What could be better? Now, I haven't watched Big Brother since I was about 21 years old, and I watched it then because I was 21, Now I know better. But I think the show's still going, and I think I would watch that. Thank you.
What really needs to happen, and Ed and I have discussed this, and we know the problem with our party is the party's getting control of the states. They can control the districts people vote in. So they make these districts, overwhelming majority of the state, conservative. And so you get these, you have to run to as far to the right, as far conservative as you can, to win anymore. So you've got these, and you create uber racist, uber conservative people, and it's a mindset. This, along with our lack of education in this country, just it's a double whammy. So we get Trumps, You got a Republican Party. You had a field of 16 of them. None of them were strong enough. You had some, maybe I wouldn't call them moderate conservatives, but for the modern Republican Party, they were like Rubio, Jeb Bush. You had none, and if you did, the right wing of the party is in charge. I'd say 75% of the Republican Party is extreme right wing. So they voted for Trump, even though he didn't get the majority of the primary votes. He had a majority of them, and so he won. Now, the reason why I think Ed and I went over this last Sunday, Bernie didn't win because he had independent votes. And Democrats won't let independents come in and vote in their primary. But he did get a lot of Democratic votes. Now, we both advocate opening up the process. States like Virginia will not let you, within a year, choose from one party to the other. There's no open primary here. You have to be a registered Democrat, independent, or a Republican. And so it's not a perfect democracy by any means. People don't take an active interest in politics except for presidential elections. And even then, tomorrow everybody will forget everything. So
I'm not quite as down on America as my friend Ulysses is. Not quite as down. Now, if you talk, you talked about a bunch of stuff. So if you're talking about racism and sexism and discrimination, it was the Democratic Party, and you're going back a few years, that passed the civil rights legislation. You have Hillary Clinton, her support, and the Democratic Party. They've been going into black neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods. They've been trying to get poor people, minorities to vote. They've been very active at the grassroots level in trying to get minorities and poor people to vote, because they're going to vote for Clinton. They're going to vote for the Democrats. There appears to be an upsurge in Spanish votes, early voting for the Democrats. But a problem there is many of the poor people they don't trust. There's not that high level of trust. And so they may not be voting in the same numbers as white people in other areas, because the poor people simply don't have enough faith in either party. So they're kind of giving up in some places. I want to see what's going to happen when people report tomorrow, because I think you will see more minorities and more poor people voting. But I think those people are the constituency of the Democratic Party, and I think Hillary Clinton, as Obama did, would try to pass legislation to provide these groups of people with more public support. We talked briefly foreign policy. I'll just mention that the Libertarians have almost the same outlook as the Green Party. The Libertarians believe the United States should not be involved in other countries, and we should be just there to respect ourselves. So the Libertarians and the Green Party actually agree on foreign policy. I don't agree. I don't agree on the world we currently live in. So one, I'm not going to vote for the Libertarians, and I'm not going to vote for the Green Party, because I believe we need a government. We need a government that will be more proactive in helping people, spending money on the infrastructure, fixing our roads, spending buckets of taxpayers' money. Woo! So I'm probably to the right of Ulysses.
Well, the Libertarian Party's great if nuclear weapons did not exist. and if you didn't care about any other nation in the world, because they don't want anything to do with building up any other nation. They don't believe in spending. They didn't believe in spending.
No, that's good. Leave everyone alone, because the United States has been interfering for so long with other countries, and they're just messing everything up. No one invites you in. Go away. Leave countries to themselves.
The thing with libertarian parties, they believe in free trade. They don't believe in fair trade. They believe in the what is that phrase? The gentle hand of capitalism moves everything. They don't believe in any kind of regulation at all, business or otherwise. They don't believe in paved roads unless it's a privately owned road. See, the Libertarian Party is laissez-faire about everything, Pamela. And that's not a good thing in modern times. You can't have that.
Our government's no better at the moment. They're bringing in a bill to say that the people who have been essentially tortured, just at our borders coming in as refugees and seeking asylum, they're saying that anyone who's currently there will never be processed into Australia, which is ridiculous. And against everything I stand for, I think I'm thinking of leaving Australia. They're disgusting me at the moment. So.
Well, I might move to Canada.
No, I can't go. I think I'll go to Bali.
No, I can't. I don't have the money to go to Bali, so I'm going to have to go to Canada.
Bali. It's a third world country. It's cheap.
I have 3 doggies. How are they going to get their passports?
Oh yeah, don't take your dogs. Chelsea.
Canada,
okay, Pamela.
And I feel bad for Australia. They just tabled the amendment for gay people to get married. That's horrible. I mean, even the United States is coming around on that. Look at her eyes. She's fighting with Chelsea. Look, I'm doing the same thing, but with a dog. She's crying. All right, Ed, say something.
No, it's just
I was going to refute Pamela. Pamela says the United States is at fault for the world problems because we got our armies running around.
No, I just said mind your own business with your armies. Yeah, like don't go invading and helping, because the only countries that you help are the ones that have oil, and you don't actually really help. But yeah, go on.
Well, you just ruined my rant. You just ruined my rant, Pamela, because that I do actually go along with. I like the idea that if that the United States should not be in Iraq, the United States should not be involved in Syria. None of our business. That I agree with you.
I agree with, but up to like if there's a humanitarian precedent, like in Bosnia and Serbia, we should have gone in there. Like Rwanda. And when the genocide was happening, when they almost lost, what is it? Like 1 million people were murdered almost. I mean, it was insane. And the world sat by and did nothing. I'm kind of feeling sympathetic for the Syrian people. I know you're opposed to going in there, but I mean, they're slaughtering kids. When is enough enough? What do you say?
When you drop a drone on a population, you're going to be killing kids. Now, the United States is not to the extreme that ISIS is. ISIS has got child soldiers, and they are using civilians as shields and things like that. So I'm not going to compare the United States, to ISIS. But in Syria, you've got Russia involved. You've got some European support of the rebels. It's just a mess. It's just if we withdraw from Syria tomorrow, I don't think it would make much of a difference. And I don't see where we're making much of a difference in Syria. And I don't know why. the only reason, the only justification for us being there is to say that ISIS is there. But that, but okay, so ISIS is there. The people, the ISIS people are attempting to gain control of the country. Can't do it. They've tried, they've failed. There's no evidence that they are planning to attack the United States. None that I've seen. And as long as there's no evidence that ISIS is actually planning a detailed attack against the United States, then we got no business at all. There's no justification for us to be in Syria, and whether we're there or whether we're not isn't going to make any difference anyway.
Even though our European allies are being attacked by them?
Everybody's attacking everybody over there. You've got Al Qaeda and ISIS have split from each other. They're attacking each other. You've got the Hezbollah, I believe, which is Iranian-backed mostly. Then you've got the Syrian guy himself. He's actually got probably the worst army of the group. And then you've got the rebels supported by the Europeans. You've got I mean, it's a mess. And I don't know. I think with the help of Russia and the Iran, Assad in Syria is going to be able to maintain control. I don't know how he can possibly govern, because I don't think he can defeat the rebels. And that's true whether the United States is there or not.
He might be able to kill enough rebels with their help and just be a brutal dictator.
There's more. If you look at I looked at Syrian population, and Assad's group, the Alouettes or something, I can't pronounce it properly, they represent a minority of the population of the country. The rebels, Sunni, represent the majority, I believe, of the population of the country. Now, Assad, that's why initially Assad was losing, until the Iranians brought in Hezbollah. The Russians got involved in supporting him. And now Assad is strong enough so that he can't be beaten. He can, you can say, I'm the president of Syria, but he also can't defeat the enemy. The enemy's getting, a little, I don't know how long this is going to last. So Assad, Assad can only maintain power because he has the support of the Iranians and the Russians. Without them, the rebels would take over. So
well, we won't have to worry about that if Trump wins. They're now calling Ohio.
Ulysses. Yeah, we got your friend Mike. I don't know if you know Mike Jobin. Mike Jobin might be even to the left of you. I'm not so sure.
They're gonna.
The Libertarian Party is the Republican Party on steroids.
That's all it is. Let's see. They're now calling Ohio for Trump. Georgia for Trump. They're still calling, I don't know, 83% of Virginia's in, and she's down by 2 percentage points. New Mexico looks like, well, it's only 22% in. She's won 50% of that. Colorado is 17% is in. She's down like 5%, 0.5%. 10% of Pennsylvania is in. She's up 60 to 33%. Michigan, 9% is in. It's almost a dead heat. Maine, 6% is in. She's up by 5 points. Let's see. Connecticut, your home state, 16% is in. She's leading by 12%. Delaware, 91% is in. She's up by 12%. She practically won DC.
Okay, can you see the map that I've screen shared from the New York Times?
Yeah. I'm reading by the percentage.
Now, if you look at the dark red states, that's Trump. So those are all the states we expected Trump to win. No surprise. That gives him a huge edge where states have been decided. When you start talking about California, Washington, Pennsylvania, they haven't called yet, but she's got 62%. So Illinois is a big electoral state. These states, well, Texas has electoral votes. Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, they don't have a lot of electoral votes.
If she doesn't take Virginia or Ohio or Michigan and doesn't take Utah or Nevada, I don't know. We might be looking at a Trump victory.
Well, okay.
If she loses Florida, it's all over with. And she's not winning Florida right now.
It looks like Trump has extended his lead in Florida.
Yeah, that is creepy. How the hell did that happen?
I figured he was going to take Ohio. Ohio's pretty conservative. Michigan, can't tell. Way too early to make anything about that.
It's way too early.
16 electoral votes. So let's see. California. California's got. No, it doesn't. I just wanted to know how many electoral votes they have.
I mean, if she won Florida, I would feel safe, but she's losing Florida. Of course, I don't know if any of the big Broward counties have come in yet or not.
Where is?
So Pam,
So while you're just chatting, my friend Megan that I mentioned before in Portland, she likes the Big Brother idea. She thinks that they would really get good ratings. I'm serious.
I know, but see, Clinton's forecast to win is now down to 58%.
Yes.
Yeah. What? So if Trump wins, Pam, what happens?
I don't know. He wants to use some nuclear weapons, doesn't he? So what's wrong with using nukes?
Yeah,
so
he's an idiot. He uses nuclear weapons, so just kiss the world goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank you, America.
Yeah, we'll just all die.
Australia might be the safest place.
There are parts of Australia that have been noted that in a nuclear holocaust they'll be the safest. Yeah, I know where they are, so we should be alright. I know how to get there. Chelsea and I'll be fine. But it was nice knowing you guys.
Okay,
I'm gonna miss you guys.
something I wanted to talk about.
Because you'll be dead. You can't miss anyone.
That's sad.
I'll miss you guys though, but you won't miss us.
I will miss you.
Ulysses,
You can't because you'll be dead.
I'm getting an echo with Pamela, Ulysses. Could you mute your microphone?
Oh.
See if that makes a difference.
Dead people don't miss people. Only living people miss people.
Okay, Pamela, I wanted to have a question.
Sure, I'm toddler wrestling at the moment, but go for it.
Different forms of government. You have a parliamentary system, and you have you right now have a coalition government. Am I correct in saying that right now Australia has a coalition government? Okay, that's because none of your parties have more than 50% of the vote. And right now, the United States is many years away from that kind of a situation, but 40% of our registered voters are independent. And so if that trend continues, at some point in the future, we would have we could have a coalition government between, let's say, the Republicans and the Libertarians, or the Libertarians and the Democrats, whatever. If I could possibly, the Libertarians, more likely than the Greens, could gain more traction in future elections, enough to represent maybe 15% of the Electoral College. Because you only has to happen is, if neither party can win 270 electoral votes, they can't form a government. So if you have let's say the Libertarian Party wins enough states so that neither Republicans or Democrats can get to that 270, you now would have a situation where, one, it might go back to the House of Representatives and the House of Representatives elects it, or two, you might have, the Republicans or the Democrats forming some kind of a coalition and saying, okay, Libertarians, you support us, and then we'll govern together. Is that really a good idea, coalition government? That's my question, Pamela.
Yeah, because then you get the vast majority of the population being represented across the board instead of just the top 1%.
Yeah, but can a coalition government also fall apart pretty quickly?
No worse than a Trump government or a Clinton government. I mean, I just can't believe you'd narrowed it down to.
And I know the British Parliament. Oh, poor Chelsea. Poor Chelsea.
You keep mentioning that boogeyman's name and she's going to cry.
Oh, poor Chelsea.
Headbutting me. So one of us
That might be me and Ulysses in the next couple hours.
We're going to be crying just as bad.
But what I'm trying to get at is a parliamentary type government where you have coalitions is not as stable as the American two-party system. The American two-party system is going to be stable with regard to the president for the next 4 years. We will have.
No, it won't be stable. Both of your candidates are war-mongering psychopaths. Okay? You have the worst people in the world, and they're your two choices. And no, it won't be stable. The world will not be stable for the next 4 years, at least. So,
you think America can make the world stable? You think?
No.
You think the world is unstable because of America?
They're both going to have more war, which is going to mess up the world. No, it won't be stable. America can't. I'm saying that no matter what you do now, you're not going to have a stable government.
You say there's going to be more wars. I think you might have. Where are you going to have more wars than you have? Where else? Right now you have a war in Iraq and Syria, which is in the Middle East. Where else outside the Middle East do you think there's going to be a war in 4 years?
I don't know, but we'll see.
I think there's going to be less war.
No, I don't. They're both very interested in war.
I mean, you look at, we are having fewer and fewer wars. Hey, you're not having...
The way I see it, right? Yeah. Either way, he wins. Trump he must have a tiny penis. He is going to be swinging nukes around because he needs to show off, right? This is the kind of man he is. Clinton, first female president, she needs to show that... What? I don't know what you're saying, sweetheart. More warts or water? Well, get your water. Clinton is first female president. She needs to show that women are not soft or weak, right? That we're just as tough as men, because that's been one of the arguments against women. Women can't do the job, blah, blah, blah. So she needs to throw some nukes around as well to make herself look more masculines to get that kind of support. They are both going to mess things up. It's going to be worse.
Nuclear weapons. Use of nuclear weapons. You're saying the United States is going to start using nuclear weapons, Clinton or Trump perhaps. And I'm saying
we're the only ones.
I see no reason, I see no evidence for that happening. We had Vietnam. We did not use nuclear weapons. We had the Korean conflict. We did not use nuclear weapons. We went into Afghanistan. We did not use nuclear weapons.
Hey, Ed, come on, give me a break. Everybody was smarter than Trump back then. I don't think Hillary would ever use nuclear weapons, but Trump might give somebody nuclear weapons to use, or just allow them to get it. That's what terrifies me, because he already said Japan needs to pay their own way. They can have their own nukes. I don't care about Iran. Russia, he's going to let them do whatever the hell they want, and we're not going to oppose them. So, yeah, we won't be interfering, but Russia might. Have fun, world. Nice knowing you.
Nuclear weapons brings peace, because nobody wants to use nuclear weapons because they know everybody dies. I don't care.
That's what intelligent, rational, logical, sensible people think. Neither of your candidates are those fall under that definition. Ed, you should be president. If you were president, I'd be happy, all right? There's heaps of water in here. You're just cranky and tired.
Okay, let's go. Different things we can do to change our election process, and I think it should be changed. So Pamela's got the Big Brother idea. Okay, Big Brother idea. It would certainly be entertaining. It would probably certainly bring in some money. I'm not quite that radical. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing something like that in a primaries. You get the primary candidates together in the primary and let them go get at each other. But actually, when I think about it, Trump tried to do that to Clinton in the last 2 debates. So if you had that kind of a style government, Trump would have beat the crap out of Clinton. Maybe she's a tough old lady, but I think Trump could probably beat the crap out of her. Of course, Obama, he could probably beat the crap out of Trump. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really such a good idea. I'm going to say, one, you got to listen to the independents. All primaries should be open to independents. If we
got rid of term limits, we wouldn't have to worry about Trump.
You want to get rid of term limits?
Yep. For the president. Look, the best president we ever had was FDR, and he was the longest serving president.
And what happened during his last few years? The guy died. Sick. He was incompetent. He went to Yalta. He let Stalin do just about anything he wanted. I mean, that was a terrible. FDR was not an effective president in his last years. Well, people voted for a Republican-controlled Congress, if I remember correctly. So I think term limits are a terrible idea. Power corrupts. What is it? Power corrupts. Unlimited power corrupts unlimitedly, or something like that. You'd have if Obama got in another 4 years, another 8 years, he'd turn into pudding.
I don't think Obama would be anywhere near Putin. I don't know. I keep telling everybody, you're going to miss Obama when Trump gets in that White House. So, oh God, I'm so sad for this nation. I did not know there were so many people that would vote for a racist, misogynistic asshole. Dave thinks it's Bernie's fault.
I'm looking at the New York Times, and they're forecasting that Trump has a 53% chance of winning. Little meter thing. No. Whew. Had a heart attack for a second there. Oops, wait a minute. Wait, it's going back and forth. They have Trump with a 53% chance of winning at this one. He's still.
I just want to go to sleep right now. Pretend this is all a nightmare.
What the freak? It's close. They're going back and forth on electoral votes, but it's close. It's a hell of a lot closer than what I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, I thought so too. You can't trust polls anymore. I don't know where they're getting their polling data.
I want to see California.
Yeah. If Michigan can pull blue, she might win a victory. But I don't see it.
Okay, it's moved ahead.
Pamela, I'm so
Last
scared
15
right now.
minutes. Jesus. I cannot believe this. And I'm only hoping that as the West Coast comes in, these figures will change, because it keeps going back and forth on electoral votes between Clinton and Trump. So it's close. That's really that's all we can say at this point. It's close. Trump actually has a shot to be president. I never thought I would be saying this. It is only 9:35. The West Coast won't be coming in till 11 o'clock. But I thought the race would be over by now. Ulysses, hard to. Oh, never mind. You moved. I wasn't sure if you were still alive.
No, I'm here. I'm just twittering people.
What's the Twitter say? Ulysses?
Oh, they're Democrats are having a meltdown. I wouldn't have predicted it this way, but like I said, if she won North Carolina, it would have been early night, but she didn't, and it's going to be a late night.
Yeah. See, if you had a Big Brother house, you'd be voting every week. And then the winner gets to be president.
Yes, but I can't live in. We don't live in that world. We have to face what we have.
No, for next time. This is what I'm telling you. For next time.
There won't be a next time. This time.
Yeah, because everyone's going to die.
Everybody's going to die on this planet. So maybe it's a good thing for the planet. Maybe we'll just kill everybody off.
Yeah, well, David Attenborough said that we're a plague.
We are a plague. We are a horrible, horrible plague. I'm glad I don't have kids.
Aww.
Okay, where can we move? We can't move to Australia because their government's not very good.
Canada is the only place I can foresee living.
Trump, what is his name? Trumbo?
The stock market has totally crashed right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have any money.
Glad I don't invest in it.
Ed, you sound like the Wizard of Oz.
my boy. I think, I'm hoping that's just Ulysses' mic. You can hear me better. His mic gets a lot of feedback, that's all. Okay. Big Brother. Who would win in, I don't, let's see. Trump would not win in Big Brother. Because he's going to go off by himself. He's going to try to bully people.
No, he might. That's how you win. You create a spectacle.
Nobody's going to put up with that crap. Not a group of. If nothing else, they'll form a coalition and beat the crap out of him and throw him out of the house. So he can't win. Who else would you have if you look at You've got Sanders and you've got Clinton. Jeb Bush is going to go hide in the corner and cry somewhere, so he's not going to do anything. Rubio, I don't, very dynamic kind of a guy. He might, and he's younger.
And then see, they're getting equal airtime then because, you know, they're all in the one place and the cameras are on them. I think it's the fairest way to do it. And it appeals to the millennials, which you're trying to get to vote, right? See, we have a compulsory voting here, so it's different. That's it.
I wish,
I
wish we had compulsory voting.
Pamela,
Chelsea's drinking from a flask right now. That is amazing.
It's just water.
It's my magic water flask.
No, look, okay, it looks funny, but she can handle it really easily with her little hands because it's flat. It has a little spout for her little mouth. She can't break it because it's stainless steel. No plastic, so it's not, you know, killing her with chemicals. And it fits in, you know, my pocket to take out and about with her. So it's perfect. And it's bought brand new for her. So she ever had water in it.
So when she's a late teenager, she's going to be all cool carrying her flask around. And people are like, what in the world are you doing?
Oh, they do that now.
I'm cool with it, Mom. Oh, it's all good. Just drinking water.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's Chelsea's flask. And at daycare, she never gets her bottle mixed up with anyone else's. Because no one else has a flask.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
What's that noise?
I don't know.
What's that
I don't know.
noise?
The boys are being quiet. Just stop talking.
Can you see me?
I was talking, we got another guy in the chat room.
Can you see
I
me,
had to
Chelsea?
send him a link. Now, I've never watched Big Brother. Could you mute your mic, Ulysses?
You're not missing much.
Could you mute your mic, Ulysses, while I'm talking? I'm getting a lot of feedback.
No, Big Brother is just a bunch of attention-seeking idiots.
What about
And that's what presidential candidates are. So that's why I came up with the idea.
Okay, but Big Brother has got boys and girls, men and women, right? They getting it on? You got them getting it on in front of the camera? To you, come on.
I think in the after hours stuff, yeah.
Okay, the world does not want to see Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton getting it on. I'm sorry.
Why not? No, you know what? You can learn a lot about people from that. Because if they're lazy in the sack, then they might be lazy as a president too. So, you know, you want to see how much effort they're putting in.
This does not equate. You just.
No, but you don't have to.
I know our system's a joke to you now.
But you don't have. No. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to see it either. But I'm just saying, well, you can learn a lot about people from that, you know. So, yeah. But no, I wouldn't expect. I wouldn't expect a presidential Big Brother to be quite the same as the regular Big Brother. But I just think it's the cheapest way to go about it, and the fairest way. You're getting equal airtime, and advertisers pay for it, not taxpayers. I mean, if you're going to have an idiocracy, you may as well make it entertaining. But didn't Trump get, carted away by someone was holding up a sign threatening him or something, and he ran off stage like a little wimp? Can you imagine him in Big Brother?
Oh, he's a big coward.
Yeah.
He's never done anything in his life.
No. And they have to, I mean, I remember when I watched it when I was 21, they have to bake bread every day and everyone takes turns or something because, like, you know, they make their own. So, you know, you see what kind of cook they are. I'm serious. I think it's a really good idea the next time. It's too late now. And Bernie Sanders will be too old for the next one. I'm sorry, but he will be, right? Like, he will be in 8 years or whatever, he'll be 82. And then, so, yeah.
In 4 years, At Big Brother, Michelle Obama's a lock.
Yeah,
She's the
she
next president.
be in it. Okay.
So it's me.
Okay. Let's take a peek. I don't even know if I want to look at the results at this point. They're just freaking depressing. Yeah.
Well, apples.
Oh, I find
Yeah.
either result depressing.
Apples.
The odds now are increasing that Trump could be president. This is boggling my mind. Trump would be president with a Republican Congress. I can't imagine a worse setup. Well, okay, looking on the bright side, we're going to go about our daily lives. We're going to do our own thing. Whoever is sitting in the White House, we're going to be doing our own thing. Our world is not going to end. It's going to be harder on the poor people, going to be harder on minorities. I have no idea what's going to happen on our borders. So we as individuals will be fine. We'll just have a government that will be addressing problems.
Ed, you know the problem with fascists? They don't tend to leave power once they get into fascism, once they get into power. So that's what you got to remember about this. And he's already done threatened that he wouldn't concede if it was a close election. So if he does get into power and he doesn't appoint any more judges, I mean, what is it? Andrew Jackson was ordered by the Supreme Court to stop the deportation of Native Americans, and he took the U.S. Army and said, "F you, Supreme Court. I'm going to do what I'm going to do." It's not unprecedented that a president could do that. And now that he's working with the Russians, it could be he could have his political opponents assassinated. It's not like it hasn't happened. We've had the Russians poison people before. Just saying, why did the FBI drop that shit on Hillary last week? And
that's because a lot of people in the FBI are not fond of us.
No, and a lot of them are Trump supporters too. So
I don't know about that.
Well,
What did you say about deporting Native Americans?
was that you, Ed? That wasn't me.
No, that was you, Ulysses.
No,
That's
You said something about deporting Native Americans, and I went, what?
well, first of all,
No, Trump said he wants to
do you
deport.
remember Tricky Dick? Dick Nixon wanted to be dictator.
Andrew Jackson.
All kinds of dirty.
Andrew Jackson moved
And what
Native
happened
Americans.
to Dick Nixon? He would have gotten impeached. He got kicked out of office. So what you would have in an extreme situation is you would get Democrats and Republicans together and they would just impeach a guy. If somebody's trying to assassinate somebody nowadays, never going to happen. I mean, he'd be impeached. He'd be put in jail is what would happen because Congress would simply get together. Now, the one thing he could do is what Pamela was talking about. A president could just decide to press the button and start a nuclear war. He's got to convince the Joint Chiefs of Staffs. They might be reluctant, but that he can do. The president can send soldiers overseas without authorization from Congress for 90 days, I think. He can do that. But internally, no. He couldn't do anything too outrageous.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought you meant Trump was going to deport. No, Andrew, we had a president take the Cherokee people, move them off of their rightly owned property, and force them out west. Hundreds of thousands, not hundreds, thousands died on the move. He used the U.S. Army against the Supreme Court because he said, "Okay, Supreme Court, you stop me from doing it," and he did it. Trump can do some horrible, horrible things. I mean, I know Nixon was impeached, but he left voluntarily. He didn't have to leave, did he? Because Clinton was impeached and he wasn't forced to leave. There are certain speculations to impeachment. And you'd have to answer.
What about this? What about you have the same situation as in 2000, Bush and Gore, where you have a state and there's some kind of question as to which state it should go. It gets thrown to the Supreme Court. 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, I think. 4 liberals, 4 conservatives. Then it would go to the House and the Republican guy would win, I guess.
Yeah. And now that the Supreme Court is 8 votes, it could fall equal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I'm trying to think of the bright side here. Trying to keep positive here. With Trump odds increasing by the moment. I don't even want to go on to Facebook. Not Facebook. My liberal Democratic friends are having a heart attack. Here it says the odds are increased. But I'm really, really hoping this just means we're not seeing the results from the West Coast yet. Okay, I'm looking at a map. Still leading in Michigan. Hasn't outright won any.
What gets me is people are okay with sexually objectifying women in this nation. I mean, they're just second-class citizens. So on another 138 years, women may make equal pay. And I was talking to our secretary that she goes, "I can't stand Hillary." I was like, "You have a chance to vote for a woman or a guy that might grab your pussy. What is it that is holding you back?" And
you can vote for a woman. Jill Stein is running. You can vote for a woman.
Well, it doesn't. Like we've lined out, there's too much opposition for Stein to ever even become president on the moderate side.
But now I read, I believe it was Jimmy Olivet of. There's an echo. Yeah, thank you. Of Occupy Wall Street. That's how I know him. If 10% if Jill Stein gets 10% of the vote, then in 4 years the Greens have just as much sort of sway as Democrats and Republicans to get up to three parties and get away from the 2-party system. So isn't that enough of a motivation to actually overthrow and completely change your system?
Yeah, I mean, if we all voted for Jill Stein, then yeah, I mean, she might get 15% of the vote, but then I can't believe Trump would still get elected. This is insane.
You don't have, I think our third party candidates are alternative party candidates. Johnson for the Libertarians. I'd be shocked if he got even 5% of the vote. Probably less. And the Green Party, maybe 1%.
If you ever want to get away from a 2-party system, you have to give them more than 10% so this time, so that next time you have an option.
Yes, that's what would have to
Then why did you both vote Democrat? I don't understand.
Because I want a 2-party system for stability, economic stability. I've got to go. I want to see the Democrats in control, because then you'll have a government that will do more about the problems that we have. Things like with our infrastructure, things like too many people who don't have insurance, healthcare. The Democrats will do more. What's holding the Democrats back is the Republican majority in Congress, which it looks like they'll continue to have. So it's the Republicans that are holding back the government. So as far as the country internally, I'm comfortable with Clinton being president. In foreign policy, that's where I would have to agree with you, Pamela. But no, I don't see there's any way of an alternative. I can see there'll be a lot more independence, but I don't know if they're going to be enough. 10, 20 years, maybe 3 elections from now. It's not going to happen before that, I don't think.
Oh, that's what I said. You've voted for white United citizens, the United States citizens. That's it. That's your vote. That's up to you. But
come on, Pamela. That's being a little
what?
disingenuous when we both voted for Obama. So I mean,
Pamela,
it's not the difference between Jill Stein and white power. It's the difference between a controlling Congress. If you have a third-party candidate, they're not going to have any traction in Congress. Anything you've ever wanted to have approved would not ever. It wouldn't even be called to the floor. So you'd have a lame duck president for 4 years, which is insane.
I would have voted for Obama myself originally. I've got it back there.
Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, but then, Guantanamo Bay is still open. That's another story. But Ulysses, what you were saying before about women, being second-class citizens and all that. This is just sort of at a local level, but it's indicative of obviously what's going on. Anyway, we've just had the Melbourne Cup here, which is the most famous horse race, and a lot of people are against it because it's not good for the horses. And then so the Cairns Post, which is the Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch newspaper here, said, sure, said what. I put a poll out and asked people to write in and say, what would you like to see racing? And they put all different, what animal would you like to see racing? That's right. And they actually printed one of the responses. A man wrote, women, I think it would be entertaining. So, carrot to the eye. Freaking hell. Anyway, so there's a big thing against, I can't cuddle you right now, I might be bleeding. Anyway, so there's a big thing against the Cairns Post at the moment for printing it, not to mention that idiot who wrote it. But, for starters, we do race, we're in the Olympics, what the hell is he talking about? But 2, he referred to us as an animal, and referring to thinking of women as I don't know what's gotten into her today. She was fine this morning. She's gone ape crap now. Referring to women like that, I mean, that's the start of that's domestic violence. That seeing a woman as a second-class citizen is how you end up beating them.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah. So anyway, I went out to get groceries this morning, and they said, you spend more than $20 and you can have a free newspaper. And I went, oh yeah, which one? And they said the Cairns Post, and I went, no thanks, I wouldn't even line my birdcage with that. So they couldn't give it away. Anyway, so I think hopefully that will be bad for Murdoch. Women, it'd be entertaining. What a pig! What a pig.
Pamela, what's sad is we have more women than men in this country, yet like 40% are still voting for Trump.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Gender's irrelevant. We had a female prime minister too, and she was a bloody idiot. And she's a redhead too. I go to redheaded females. I gave birth to one, but I'm not going to vote for. Gender should be irrelevant. It's not about. For some people, it is, but it's not about being female. It's not about being white. It's not about being black. It's not about being transgender. It's about what policies you stand for and what kind of job you're going to do. Genitals shouldn't come into it.
To get greater representation of women in politics requires women, young women, getting involved at the grassroots level. This is same thing with business. Same thing, science. It takes women becoming involved at the lower levels and then working them, and then they will work their way up. But it takes, that first step has got to be women becoming involved. They need to be more encouraged to get involved than they are now. I would say seeing a female president could encourage more young American women to get involved. It's still a man show in politics. I hope it is changing, but I can't say it really is. I can't say that. We have more diversity in our Congress. That is more minorities, Hispanics, African Americans. We have more women. The number of women in Congress has been increasing each election cycle. So it's increasing, but it's not dramatically increasing. We're talking about, going from maybe none or one senator to maybe a couple of senators. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how many female senators there are. There are a fair amount of females in the House of Representatives. Let's see, women in Congress. That's what the old Google. Women in Congress 2016. Let's see. Women in Congress. Okay. In come on. Okay. In 2015.
Hey, Ed, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Hillary's lost Florida.
The last I saw, it was down into thousands. So, okay. At this point, nothing.
No, she's like 80,000 to tie, just to tie. I can't believe she lost Florida. I mean, California, the West Coast has to come. She's got to win Michigan.
Since I expected her to win easily, I am the last person in the world who can make any predictions. But back on the theme of female representation, you have 104 women in Congress. You have 20 women in the Senate. That's a big increase. 20 women in the Senate and 84 women in the House of Representatives. Okay, that's actually a pretty good increase. So we're seeing increases in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. So that could be a more positive, showing a more positive trend, and perhaps women will become much more involved in leadership positions in the United States going forward. Now I'm looking at the map. I don't see a big change here, but as you say, Florida. Okay, the New York Times is showing Florida as a little over 100,000 difference, with 97% of the vote. That would most definitely be a big loss. Michigan, 60,000. So Clinton is in trouble in both Michigan and Florida. That is not good. I'm gonna go overseas. Oh, my mic's muted. Okay, gonna go overseas. The Guardian. Okay, what is the Guardian saying? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Good night for Trump with Clinton under pressure. They've got, yeah, they're what the Guardian is basically agreeing with and showing almost the exact same map as the New York Times is. It would take, yeah, wow. Let's see. So if Trump has won 104 delegates. Okay, let me go back to 104. Florida gives him 123, 139 with Georgia, 154 with North Carolina, 164 with Missouri, 164, 182 with Ohio, 188 with Michigan, 198 with Wisconsin, 198, that's 200. If all of the states he's leading in, that would give him 200 electoral votes. He needs 70 more. Iowa's not reporting. Iowa, Utah. So California's got 50. He's got to get 70 more. 6 in Utah, 6 in Nevada, that's 12. 16 with Idaho, 23 with Oregon, 35 with Washington. He needs 35 more. If he wins California, it's over. He's not going to win New Mexico. He needs 30. He's got to find 35 more votes than the states that are leaning towards him, the states he has, the states that are leaning towards him, and all the other states except California. Virginia. Okay, now the Virginia, they're saying with 93% total, they're giving that Clinton has a 16,000 vote lead. So Clinton is now leading in Virginia. She's certainly leading in Pennsylvania. Virginia, to me, but even Virginia doesn't give Trump enough votes.
He's barely going to, he's going to lose Virginia, but not by much.
As long as he loses, it doesn't make any difference. But if he loses Virginia, my numbers could be wrong.
It makes a mandate difference.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Clinton needs to win Virginia, as I look at this. I'm assuming she's going to lose Florida. And I'm assuming she's going to lose North Carolina. So he's got to win Virginia. Virginia becomes a key state. If Clinton hangs on in Virginia, now let me try to do the math. Trying to do the math, gots to go over to The Guardian. The Guardian is saying Clinton has 104. Okay. Maine, 108. Pennsylvania, these are leaning, 128. Virginia, 141. Minnesota, 151. New Mexico, 156. Colorado, 165. So my math is off somewhere. 165. California would give her 220. So now she's got 220 with the states that are leaning in California. She's got to get 50 more. 6, 12, 16, 23, 35. So Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon are going to have a major role. Those states could actually decide who becomes the next president, and that is assuming Clinton wins Ohio, because you got to get to that 270. So Clinton has to win Virginia. Clinton has to win Pennsylvania. Now they're showing Iowa. Well, that's only 1%. Okay, so we're looking at the West Coast states: Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington.
If they'd run Bernie instead of Hillary, they'd have won for sure.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. He would bring me.
Hey, I've got to say this. I got to go on record. Dave Friedel is blaming me for supporting Bernie because it tore Hillary up too much, and now that's why she lost.
What?
Exactly. That's what I said. I was like, well, it's not my fault you picked a bad candidate.
No, she's lost because she's a war criminal.
I don't see. You got to
If she'd
understand, Americans don't care about that. They care about you lied and you're a woman. They don't believe in women here. They're sexist pigs. It doesn't matter what woman you picked. It could have been Elizabeth Warren. She would not beat Trump. It's just because we're sexist pigs in this country.
Okay.
Clinton won. What happened with the Democrats? An independent came in, Sanders, and he almost won the nomination. But the old school Democrats, the Democratic machine, solidly behind Clinton. And you also had states which did not, where independents could not vote for the Democrat in the Democratic primary. So, you know, the odds that those things were against Sanders on the Democratic side. On the Republican side, they didn't have anybody. They didn't have anybody who was going to be a standout. They put their money on Jeb Bush. The Democratic machine, whatever, they picked Jeb Bush because he's a Bush, and neglected to forget about the part that he's a complete idiot. and then you had the debates and everybody said, this guy's an idiot. And there was nobody there but our friend Trump. And Trump said one thing: I'm going to keep out them damn Mexicans. I'm going to build that wall. And and a lot of Republicans, conservatives, Tea Party said, yay. So he walked in as an outsider and took over a badly split Republican Party. Sanders walked into a Democratic Party where the machine was against them. Now, Clinton loses. All bets are off. I don't know what's going to happen if Clinton loses in 2020. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. I can't even really predict what kind of a government we're actually going to have with Trump in charge.
Oh, come on. The Republicans are going to roll over for him. They're going to do whatever the fuck he wants. And it's just the way it is. Hopefully, the Democrats control the Senate. That's all we can hope for.
No, they're not going to control the Senate. That's pretty much been decided so far tonight. Clinton has a much better...
Sorry, you've both seen the movie Idiocracy, haven't you? Yeah? Yeah, that's what you're going to have.
I didn't hear you, Pam.
Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have with Trump. That's it. Like, I watched it when I was pregnant. It had been on my to-do list to watch, and it was a freaking horror movie to me, thinking this is the world I'm bringing my kid into, and I was like 5 months pregnant, and everything is when you're pregnant, everything is enhanced, like everything. So it was horrible to watch when I was pregnant, but it stands out in my mind, and it was meant to be a comedy film, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a futuristic documentary. So you're going to have an idiocracy with Trump.
I think what we'll have is a Congress that's not very active at all. That's what the right wing, that's what the Republicans, that's what the Tea Parties, they want to have a government that basically leaves everything up to the states. And I think Ulysses is right that it's, except for foreign policy, Congress has a lot to say because Congress votes on the budget. And so it'll be the congressional leaders like Ryan, who's the Speaker of the House. It's the Democrats in Congress that will have control of the budget. And they probably won't even listen to Trump. They can say all he wants. They probably are not going to pay attention to Trump because they vote on the budget.
Dude, they're gonna first gut Obamacare. They're gonna get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever existing condition you have, you're gonna be denied. If you're a woman, they're gonna cut funding for all women health care because Trump doesn't believe in that. Neither does the Republican Party for that matter. So that's gone. Planned Parenthood's gone. You're going to have increase in sexually transmitted diseases, increase in unwanted pregnancies. Let's see. That's just the beginning.
Hang on. Why can't people just use condoms?
They give out condoms too. They're going to cut funding for sex education because they believe in abstinence only.
Yeah, okay. But condoms are like, I don't know what they cost there, but you can pick up a 12-pack for like $5.30 here. I mean, it's not that, you know.
No, but if you're a kid and you don't, you had to have permission to buy condoms. You had to go to the pharmacy. Yeah, it wasn't always that. It was like that when I was growing up. It's a lot better now, but fuck, who knows what's going to happen.
Why would you need permission to buy condoms?
Because we're a Christian nation.
But you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be secular. Church and state are separate.
Yeah, but that's only fucking lip service.
No, but is it law that you need permission to buy condoms? Like, I can understand needing permission to go on the pill or something like that because you're actually messing with your body, right? So I can understand.
Up until 21, or 18, you couldn't buy condoms.
You're talking about without parental permission.
Yeah.
Is that law?
Till recently.
In some states it is. In some
That's
states
insane.
It's insane. And like I said, we have a country
of
insane people.
I think people under the age of 18 or 21 don't have sex.
Because it's amoral, you'll die. You know what my dad told me if I had sex before marriage, I would die and burn in hell. That's what he told. That was his sexual education for me. So yes, Americans are stupid people. They're really stupid.
It doesn't stop teenagers. Like, you gotta have. That's crazy. I can't believe that's law in some places.
A minor. If you're a minor, that's what it comes down to.
I just want to put on my Facebook page now that ladies cover your pussies because it's open season.
You know what? The New York Times has got a list of the states that that he needs to win. And if I look at that, he wins. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Iowa, Florida, North Carolina, Michigan. Now, Arizona let's see, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Arizona, Utah, and Alaska, but I don't think they've got that many votes. He could lose those and still win the election. I'm looking at the states as listed here by the New York Times. Trump's the next president. I'm not sure what can change that picture.
We'll be back. I have to take Chelsea to the potty.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. Unless, once again, this is the New York Times and something is going to happen here that I don't know about. But Pennsylvania, okay. Where are we in Pennsylvania? Pennsylvania now becomes a really key state. He's got a big, wait a minute here. I'm getting a little bit confused here. They're showing.
She's leading Pennsylvania by 200,000.
Yeah. This particular list would includes Trump winning Pennsylvania, which he is not. He's not winning Pennsylvania. They also have him, it's too short. They have him winning Iowa. Well, that's way too early to call.
She's way ahead in Iowa. She's ahead by 40,000 votes.
So I don't know. I'm having a tough time with the numbers here. Pennsylvania goes, key states.
I say she wins Colorado.
Trump certainly stands a much better chance of winning. But if he doesn't get Virginia, he doesn't win Pennsylvania, he's not going to win Iowa. I don't know. The old man is confused here. He's terrified. Well, not terrified, because no matter who wins, it's not going to do anything to me. I am a retired man, and I don't give a fuck who's sitting in Washington. You pay my Social Security, guys. You pay my Medicare, and I'm happy.
You might lose all that in the Trump administration.
Only if the government goes bankrupt.
That might happen. They said the Dow just dropped 500 points.
Oh yeah, everybody's going bananas. Like you say, nobody predicted this. The polls were bullshit. I got to get a piece of paper so I can write. In fact, I'm not even going to bother.
I always thought they said Clinton had a better ground game. She had more people. She had places everywhere. I don't understand, like, Trump didn't hardly spend any money compared to Hillary. I mean, he spent a lot of it, mostly in ads, but he didn't spend it on people I guess politics has completely changed, and Trump showing you how to do it now. He showed you how just to lie, get out there and lie, say whatever the hell you want. Don't do anything conventional. He's a shuckster.
My guess would be that Clinton. There's too many Clinton haters. There's too many independents. If Trump wins, the independents went to Trump instead of to Clinton. And too many independents then simply don't trust Clinton, don't think she's going to be that effective, and they're going to Trump. So Trump would be winning the independent vote. And I would say it could mean that Sanders. It could really elevate Sanders' position, because it could be, got to be a real wake-up call to the Democrats that they got to bring in the independents. And Sanders is the independents guy. So he's kind of old. If Sanders ran, he would get a lot more of the independent vote. Pamela mentioned it.
Well, I mean, everybody I talked to's rather had Sanders, and I don't know why people voted for Hillary. I just don't get it. And she has too many negatives. Like, they just thought he was too much of a socialist and Trump would just beat him, but I don't think so.
She had the support of the party. That's why she won. She had Barack Obama behind her. She had the Democratic National Committee behind her. She had the organizational behind her. And particularly in some states where you had a caucus, that was the party machinery. Sanders had no shot in a state where there was a caucus. And so Clinton got the nomination because the Democratic Party machinery backed her. And kind of looks like they may have picked the wrong horse. I can't even imagine.
Sometimes you do pick the wrong horse. Sometimes that's just what happens. God, this sucks.
Interesting. Fascinating.
Oh.
As I say, a retired guy. This is interesting. I am not personally affected. Did you mute your microphone, Ulysses? We're getting an echo.
Oh, sorry.
It's going to affect me very little personally. It's going to affect where I want the country to go. It's going to affect the direction I want the country to go in.
Is this better?
What might happen is it's going to embolden the right wing and the Tea Party people. They're going to say, screw any liberals, screw all the centralists. We're the people. We are who the people want. Now, there are more centralist Republicans like Paul Ryan and the guy in Utah. And my hope would be they will be the ones who will step in and
come on, Ed.
Try and
as soon as Trump gets in there, he's going to primary out these guys, these moderate people that came out and opposed him. He's going to get rid of them. And you're right. People are going to say the Tea Party is what people want.
That is the worst case. The worst case scenario is
I need to move to
people
Canada.
want the Tea Party. That's the worst case scenario. I can only hope that the reason the Democrats lost is because everybody hated Clinton. I can only hope that's the case. If in fact more Americans trust the right wing, that's really, really sad for America, and that's not the direction I want to see America to go in. Right. I don't know. It's I don't know. What do you think, Ulysses? What do you think the chances are that the country's voters really do want a Tea Party-like government?
Got me.
There you go, Pamela. You got two clueless Americans who have no idea what the hell is going on here.
I know what the hell's going on, and Pamela will say it's because you keep voting for the same party. They're both the same party, and I agree. But God, the Democrats were a progressive party, and they can't even get elected because Republicans have gerrymandered the districts, so they can't ever get elected in Congress and do any change. And we picked Hillary, which is a piece of shit candidate. Am I still echoing? Do you still hear an echo?
No.
No? Okay. Well,
Oh,
Hillary
yes.
was
Yes, I
a
do.
sorry candidate, and Bernie was a better candidate. Now, could he withstand all the lies that? I mean, see, I think Bernie would have said when Trump was lying, Bernie would have said, "No, you said that." Hillary didn't step up and say, "No, you're lying." So I don't know, and that's why we're a sexist, misogynist country, because we don't feel like a woman can be anything.
No, I reckon Michelle Obama will get in when she runs.
Yes, she doesn't have the baggage that Clinton had. There were simply a lot of Clinton haters. A lot of Clinton haters out there. And I would say that's what happened. The right wing got out not enough liberals voted. Clinton could not get enough of the Democrats to the polls. And the independents, too many of them just simply hated her and vote for anybody. Okay, Pamela, to get something to talk about. How would you compare your current prime minister to our possibly newly elected president, Trump?
Yeah, they could be best friends. Yeah, Malcolm Turnbull's. No, Chelsea, sweetheart. Have you? No, you have your formula.
I
Yeah.
don't want it.
Okay. Well, that's what we're doing now. Boobies only for going to sleep at night time, or on the bus when I need to shut you up. Okay. We're weaning. 7 months of weaning. We're getting there. I need to be more strict. Right, what were we saying? Yeah, no, our current Prime Minister. Oh, yeah, he's the one locking out the refugees and asylum seekers, passing to law that they can, the ones that are here waiting for entry right now will never be Australian citizens, which is just ridiculous. So the loophole, though, is, you see, Australia and New Zealand, we have an agreement between us that we can go and work and live and buy land and all that kind of stuff between us. We don't need visas. We can go back and forth at will. So New Zealand, because New Zealand is one of the best countries in the world, they're awesome. That's where you should move to, New Zealand, not Australia, New Zealand, right? So New Zealand are going to take our overflow. However, if the refugees and asylum seekers that we're currently rejecting in Australia become citizens of New Zealand, then they can come to Australia because of our agreement, unless our politicians cease that agreement. But I can't see them doing that. That would, yeah, I can't see that happening anytime. Yeah, but you know what? Couldn't see Trump becoming president either. So you just don't know what's going to happen. Now, Australia's not good at the moment either. So if I sound like if you feel defensive that I'm being critical of the US, I'm just as critical of my own country right now. And Chelsea's an Australian citizen and a British citizen, and I'm very critical of Britain right now, leaving the European Union. So, you know, everyone's a bastard. Don't take it personally.
Yeah, it's
What is wrong with the world? I don't get it.
people seem, first of all, people seem to be afraid of immigrants everywhere. And that is one thing that will happen with Trump and the Democrats. There'll be no more Muslims coming into the United States, and they will really cut back. I don't think they can actually build a wall between us and Mexico, but they will certainly increase border security. And so maybe, you know, that anti-immigration might have been also a part of why a lot of people supported Trump and not Clinton. And maybe there are a lot more people that were anti-immigration in the United States than what I had thought. So maybe that's a much bigger issue with a lot of people than what I had thought. Europe's starting to go right wing in some places, nationalistic, the national parties.
Britain, yeah.
I don't know about maybe even Germany, but I'm not sure. France.
Oh no, I think Germany's all right. I don't know. Did you see that meme? Oh, I'll have to find it. I saw someone post today about America, go ahead and elect and they gave a description of basically Hitler, but it's Trump, and it's like, good luck with that. Love Germany. What could possibly go wrong? Love Germany. That's what it said. Yeah. No, I think Germany's all right.
Yeah, Germany's learned their lesson. If anything, they do remember the Holocaust, every year. I mean, they have not forgotten what has happened to them, but we did. So the only thing worse is now we have nuclear weapons with fascists. What could possibly go wrong?
Yep.
Actually, I like Germany's economic model, where they have the marriage of socialism, but they have the marriage between business. Seemed to be a pretty good working relationship between business, government, and the unions. So that's the model I like. And Ulysses, you talked about being more of a socialist, and actually I'm becoming much more of a socialist as well. What's happening tonight is going in the opposite direction, but
you have to. I don't understand. I'm not trying to be socialist. I'm trying to be progressive. But in this modern era, you have to control these multi-corporate conglomerations that can stretch throughout the world and decimate our globe. I think the most pressing issue, aside from women's rights, is climate change. That's more important than almost anything we have, because that's going to decimate hundreds of millions. It's going to affect billions of people. We're going to run out of clean water. Populations of animals are going extinct at an unprecedented rate. We're not going to have any ice caps. And yeah, but that's okay. They elected Trump, so I guess people don't believe in global warming.
I don't even think that was an issue. I think most Americans don't even care on that. It's just not a big issue with most Americans. Let's see. I'm going over to a different place. Washington. Let's see, Washington Post. Voting machine malfunctions create headaches across the state. Democrats are now basically extinct in the South. Huh? They're not quoting any odds here. Trump's path to victory is suddenly much, much wider. Let's read that.
Well, I'm surprised. I really did think Clinton was going to win. I just don't think she's any better than Trump. That's all.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say before is, why is socialist a bad word anyway? Why do you have to qualify it, Ulysses, and go, oh, I'm not socialist, I'm progressive? Why is socialist a bad word? Our brains are built for communities. We're supposed to be operating in communities of 150 or so and looking after each other and taking care of each other, and that's what socialism is. These are primordial instincts. Why don't we follow them? They're there for a reason. They're there for our survival.
Well, because, Pamela, we're built on the principle of using one's own labor for personal gain in this country. Socialism is the exact opposite of what you've been taught. So you can be alienated easily in this nation. That's all.
But personal gain is looking after each other and being looked after. It's reciprocated. Looking after my friends and family means that I'm looked after when I need it. That is personal gain. It's selfish. There's no such thing as a selfless good deed.
Socialism became a bad word primarily during the Cold War. You had some socialist anarchists in the 30s and into the 40s, but then with the Cold War, between the United States and Russia, people began equating communism with socialism. And so that's why...
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, that was a different situation. And there's in communism, in its theoretical form, is not necessarily bad either. But what you were looking at, they were saying they were socialists and they were saying they were communists, but that was more dictatorship. So they were just using the wrong words, and that's why those words have become sullied. But that was 30, 40, 50 years ago. Get over it.
Well, you know, a big part of the right wing, and looks like the independents going in that direction, is because they want less government. Now, that's the direct opposite of socialism. What they are saying is too much government control over the country. You've got the government telling us how to live our lives. You've got the government taxing us so that they're going to impose health care. That the government is going to say, North Carolina, here's how you have to take care of your people. And that's the question. And that's why you originally, with the Tea Party and with the conservatives, they're saying less government. That's the immediate effect. If you have a Republican president, Republican Congress, government will have less and less to do with what happens in individual states. The direct opposite of socialism, and maybe even opposite fascism. Fascism isn't that a strong central government. What we would have here, Americans want a weak central government. They want states to decide for themselves what on the issues. States to decide gun control. States to decide health care. States to decide immigration, or whatever it happens to be. What we're seeing is a trend perhaps towards people, more and more Americans saying, we want a weaker federal government, stronger states' rights.
I'm hoping California secedes because
You just read my mind. I was just about to say.
Texas wanted to secede, but hell, they can have America. I'll just move to California.
Let Texas secede. They can let them. Yeah, California should be its own.
If Trump wins, they won't want to now. That's the whole part.
Oh, yeah.
They can get rid of Obama. They can get rid of Obamacare. They go back to mass murdering their inmates. They're the most death penalty state in the union. Probably next to us. So I don't know. Let's move to Canada.
New Zealand. No, because it wasn't. Yeah. No, Canada's all right at the moment, I guess. But New Zealand's the place to be. I think New Zealand's good. Just got to watch out for the earthquakes.
I'm going to divert completely because I read a story about our friends in New Zealand. What the fuck is happening with them beekeepers, man? They're having a beekeeper war in New Zealand. New Zealand's got some kind of special bee, produces some special honey that everybody in the world wants. The prices are going up. And you have beekeepers who are having their hives destroyed. You have, I don't know, I picture guys with guns protecting their own beekeeper hives. What's wrong with them New Zealanders?
No, guns, no. Not in New Zealand. Have you got the book Gun Baby Gun yet, Ed?
No.
You need to, everyone just, if you're a human being, all Homo sapiens need to read this book. I'm only halfway through. Because as I said to you last time we spoke about it, I have to sort of read a chapter or so and then put it aside and think about it because it's really heavy reading. And it's really quite depressing. But I think it's a really good book about gun statistics around the world from all different perspectives. But yeah, no, there's no, they're not going to have guns at the beekeeping in New Zealand. Goodness me.
You can have a long rifle in Australia. You can own a weapon, you just can't keep the ammunition with it. Right, Pamela?
We have guns, yeah. But we don't have guns like you do, and our mentality towards guns is completely different. Can you turn that down, please, just a little bit? Thank you.
Well, because you guys are smarter in some things than we are.
We don't have automatic or semi-automatic anymore. Not for civilians. No, sweetie, you have to have formula. No. Might be, no, you have to have formula. Because you're 2.5. That's irrelevant. Anyway. Oh! You can have formula. Yeah. No. Boobs are off duty at the moment. Guns, right. Yeah. But we have psychiatric testing as well for owning guns and shooting guns, and you have to be a member of a Sporting Shooters Association of Australia, and you have to attend, shooting practice and target practice and all that kind of thing. So it's a lot more strict. But, when you guys wrote into your constitution or whatever, the right to bear arms, they didn't know you were going to invent AK-47s at that time.
Yes.
They're talking about muskets and stuff.
What gets me is
the United States has been going down, but it bumped up again this year. Over the murder rate is lower than it was 25 years ago. It bumped up, but that's the rate, not total murders. Total murders, yes, are certainly up. And one of them, I agree 100%, and I'm sure it's in your book perhaps, but record numbers of assault weapon sales in the United States. Freaking terrifying. I posted a link to a story, actually a little too frightening to talk about right now, about a sheriff in Oregon, a supporter. I don't know if you read about the people who took over the nature preserve up in Oregon. He's a supporter of theirs. Now, the difference is this guy is an elected sheriff. And there were complaints against him because he's going around picking out deputies, just naming deputies who are people, his friends. And he's saying these people have the same rights as basically any other deputy. He is putting there's an organization that he belongs to, might even be sheriffs, other sheriffs, I'm not sure, but they're putting together apparently a manual that says the government, federal agents cannot come into a city without the sheriff's permission, basically. So that is kind of scary. Now, this is an elected official. He's up for re-election. The guy who was number 2 man is running against him because of all these things I've said. But that's a kind of scary trend. And the fact that we have a record number of assault weapons in the hands of Americans, such as our friends in Oregon, that is scary.
Did you see I think you did, yeah, in Ulysses, you saw, I posted the other day, the excerpt from that book about Iceland. Per capita, I think they actually have, they're on par with you on how many guns they have. But most years go by that they have 0 murders. And in 2013, 1 man was shot and killed by the police. And that was a big deal because that's the first time ever in Icelandic history that someone has been shot and killed by police.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. But
they had guns. It's just the attitude towards guns and about them.
If you guys knew how uninformed people were in this nation, I mean, the guys that I work with are seriously uninformed. And maybe I sound like I'm a snob, but they don't understand that Trump actually has a case pending against him on the 28th for using his foundation money to bribe an elected official. So I'm not saying that you can be impeached for that, because you have to be actually elected in office. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Hillary's going to be impeached." I'm saying you have to be in the office to be impeached for an offense against the Constitution. She was never. Emails aren't going to impeach her. She may be indicted, but it's how uninformed people of America are. Like I said, I need to start drinking heavily and quit going to work. Well, oh well. Healthcare costs will go up for everybody. Women will be forced to have to ask a doctor's permission for birth control pills, which I don't understand.
Actually, that's not true, because what you're going to is a weak federal government, which means states decide. And you have states that are still more liberal.
Yeah, but what about the people who are poor and can't move? You're basically screwing the poor, is all it comes down to. So I guess not everybody's equal in this country.
Yes, the poor people are in worse shape because the safety net of the government's going to disappear.
Fuck yeah, it is.
That's probably the people who are going to be affected the most. The poor, the disenfranchised, people who can't afford health care. They're the ones who are will be most affected with a Republican-controlled government.
And look, higher education is going to be cut too, because basically taxes have been funding that, especially with Pell Grants. It's all going to go away. We're going to have a really dumb electorate.
You know, there was another article I was going to go over. It's Maine and a few other states. And there's an initiative on the ballot that would allow you to say, here's my first choice, here's my second choice, here's my third choice. So what you would have then is no one gets 50%. Now you have a runoff, and it's between the second choice and the third choice. Don't know if I've explained that accurately, but what you have, instead of saying I'm going to vote for a Republican guy, I'm going to vote for the Democratic guy, what you're saying is my first choice is the Republican guy, my second choice is the Democratic guy, my third choice is the Libertarian, and it breaks the vote down a little bit more. And in a couple of states that have it, it has resulted in these runoff elections.
Yeah, we do that here.
Yeah.
You can vote either, like there's above the line and below the line, and if you vote above the line, you fill one box in, so vote one and you don't have preference, and if you vote below the line, you have to fill in every box in your order of preference. So you have the option here, and I always fill it in, every to make sure that I make it clear. So the current government is last. I put all the other parties before them, even the pirate party and the sex and marijuana party and all that. They all come before the current government.
This country needs to come everybody out of it. So destructive.
Well, it means the states will decide. So you're going to have to ask the question, how are things in your state? You're not going to ask the question, how are things in Washington? You're going to ask, how are things in your state? Not Connecticut. Hey, Connecticut's pretty good. We're liberal. And we have very strong gun control laws. And so, even with that, Republican-controlled Trump presidency, if it comes down to more powers to the state, I'm in Connecticut. I'm okay. Ulysses, I don't know. I don't know exactly. You're a little bit more southern. I don't know. I don't know what Virginia is.
The sad thing is, because the federal government's doing so well, the state does well, because most of the construction is in Northern Virginia, where DC is. So, that's going to all go away, and the state's going to entropy. Unless you increase military spending, then maybe Newport News will build boats, but that's not going to bring the amount of jobs that federal employees make. They're hundreds of thousands of federal employees. But you cut all that, because Trump's done said it's too bloated. You cut all that. Where are these people going to go to work? Because private corporations aren't hiring right now. But, well, it's Armageddon.
Well, another positive thing, though, thinking about the future, is technology, and technology is science, and that's going to keep going on. Our technology is going to keep getting better and better. We're going to be saving more lives because the technology we are creating will sell more lives. So screw the government. We're going to have tools ourselves that we can use to make our world better, to make our lives better. All that technology is through science.
You can make it better, but if you don't pay a decent salary, it doesn't really matter. And the only decent salary lately has been maybe a government job, because then you'll get retirement. Nobody's giving you any kind of pension or retirement anymore, so kind of on your own.
You're screwed, Ulysses.
Yeah, I'm screwed. I really am.
I don't know.
I feel I am jealous of European people, because they can get a month off and take vacation just about anywhere. I barely can get a week off a year. I mean, and that's, I took 2 weeks off this year, and that was pushing my luck. So I don't.
We get holidays here too, like, unless you work for yourself. But if you work for companies that they don't even like you to build up too many holidays, they make you take holidays. They're like, hey, Pamela, you've got 8 weeks up. Can you go away, please?
You get 8 weeks? Oh my God.
No, like you get 5 weeks a year, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't take them, they'll make you take them.
But see, they don't like it when you're gone. Any company doesn't like it. I was that's when I got pregnant, actually, because I just remembered, because I had about 8 weeks up, and they said, can you take some holidays? And I said, well, I want to save 2 weeks because I was going somewhere later on. So I said, but yeah, I'll take 6 weeks now. Why not? If I have to, because I was going to roll over another year and have another 4 weeks. So then I'd have 12 weeks up, you know what I mean? Like, I've got to take them. And so I had my 2 weeks with the 4 rolling over, so that was keeping 6 aside. So I took 6 weeks. And so while I was on holidays, I met Chelsea's dad and made Chelsea, and yeah. So that was their fault. Not that it's a fault, but you know what I mean? If I hadn't been on holidays, I wouldn't have Chelsea. So they make you take your holidays. Yeah. That would be nice. They don't make you do anything. But if you don't use your holiday pay, you lose it. And they don't want you going away. Oh, yeah. If I build up enough hours, they stop building. You're like, okay, you can only accrue like 100 and maybe 128 hours a year. And then you lose it.
That's nuts.
You can't.
While I was on maternity leave for 2 years, I was still accruing holiday pay and sick pay and everything. You don't get your sick pay, you lose your sick pay. Although if the Greens party ever get in, they're going to advocate that you keep your sick pay and get paid that out as well, because that's part of your salary package. So I vote for that. But your holiday pay, I was still accruing it. So when I did not go back to, because I kept my position open just in case, whatever happened. And when I did not go back to work for them, because I'm doing stuff for myself now, I got paid out my holidays. They were still accruing while I was on paid maternity leave.
Damn.
Like that's robbery to take your holidays.
We're in a right to work state. Hopefully that'll get overturned. But like they don't like unions here in America. I don't understand the thinking. I know unions got top heavy, but God, this country is just so backwards. It really is. We don't have guaranteed health care for anybody. I mean, you don't have a guaranteed retirement.
So as as a citizen of the US, where can you move to without much fuss?
Where can I what?
Where can you move to without fuss? Like who takes US citizens quite easily?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's what we need to research for you.
Australia would have been the perfect place, but
oh no, we don't take people in, man.
I'm too old now. I'm too old.
We don't even like the people that are here.
See, Great Britain, I don't think there's not enough of them. Canada.
No, you can't get into Britain. Don't even try.
You can't get into Britain. Maybe Germany. Oh, I know. There's this one Eastern European nation that'll pay Americans to go to a university there. Oh, I forgot. It was on Michael Moore's movie. Did you see that?
Oh, I did see it. Yeah, Where Shall We Invade Next?
Yeah, that was a great film.
No, they don't pay you to go there to university. You have free university there.
University.
Was it Romania?
Something like that. Some Bulgaria or something. It was awesome.
Because they were saying that if they charge international students, then that's only a step away from charging local students, and they don't believe in doing that. So, yeah, I think it was something like Romania. I'd have to watch it again. But yeah, no, Australia and Britain are out. Don't even bother. I don't know. What about Sweden? They have parts of Sweden that they were paying people to move to because it was too underpopulated. And what about Poland? Because all the Polish people are moving to Britain, so maybe there's some room in Poland. I'm being serious, and I know that if you're not a US citizen, you can use Singapore as a stepping stone to get US citizenship through business. I wonder if it works the other way. You'd have to see if Singapore is good for US citizens. If it is, you should definitely move to Singapore. I love Singapore. I'll come visit you all the time.
Scandinavian countries are got the kind of governments that I think I would like to see, and probably maybe Ulysses, what you'd like to see more, like you say, free education and that sort of stuff. More socialistic, definitely more socialistic. But they've been able to do that, I think, because of the oil money and things. But they have also a high tax rate. But they have, they have the kind of governments like you in Australia where you get, cradle to grave health coverage and education. Finland, Yanni's Finland, our friend Yanni. Finland is free education.
Hillary wins Hawaii.
I go back and look, and I'm just getting depressed, but I shouldn't get depressed because the fact is it doesn't. I get depressed for people like you, Ulysses. Not going to make a bit of difference to me.
No, yeah, my retirement's screwed. I mean, I'm not going to have
healthcare.
Oh,
How
my
the heck do you
healthcare.
afford healthcare?
Oh, if they get rid of healthcare, we're
Education. Now, there's a worry. You're going to have a federal government that's going to want to spend less money on education, leave it up to the states.
Well, that's what the problem is. They let
working out.
states decide whether they'd help carry, and they gave them 2 years. And when the 2 years run out, copay, the federal government was co-paying everybody's insurance, and that ran out. And some people's insurance went up because some of these states, especially the conservative one, didn't want to pay for people's health. So, I don't know. I can't believe Florida flipped. It voted for Obama twice. How the fuck do you vote for Obama twice and not Hillary Clinton over Trump? I don't get that.
Is it simply
And it's only by like
Clinton? It is simply Clinton. People don't know.
It has to be.
Is it
You
just
know, it's
her,
about
or is it the party?
130,000 votes. Now, if you didn't have, I don't know, Gary Johnson, he's getting 200,000 votes. So that would probably have been Trump. But Jill Stein, she only had 60,000 out of what, 10 million, 11 million people voting in Florida. So, I mean, that's a drop in a bucket.
Well, the New York Times is basically, they called it 95+% chance Trump wins.
Stop that.
I'm surprised.
Hillary. What if Hillary wins Oregon and Washington?
I thought it was Hillary all the way.
Damn.
They're even showing Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. Arizona's got 30% reporting. Trump's winning Arizona. Nevada. No, it's only 1%, but he's getting 2/3 of the vote in Nevada with 1%.
Michigan is reporting 50%, and she's only down
27,000. What I see.
7,000 votes.
It wouldn't be surprising with these close states and things. You're going to see lawsuits. Challenge, but the challenge is, though, it's got to be the governor. I think that Florida has a line, and I don't know what it is. Isn't it in Florida, if the contest is within a certain percent, you have to do a recount?
Every state within a certain percent, you have to do a recount.
You're going to see that tomorrow. I think, definitely.
Like if it's within 10,000 votes or something, you have to do a recount. So let's see, Virginia, 13. I'm adding up. I'm doing that. 20.
That could even be worse. Can you imagine? You've already had Trump saying it's rigged.
Yeah.
You've already got this sheriff in Oregon.
It is rigged for him.
Do a recount and he loses. Oh my God! Well, I'm safe in my little condo. I don't know about you.
I don't know. I'll probably get run out of town.
I can't imagine what Justin Jackson is going to be like in Thursday's hangout.
Oh.
They don't want him to talk about politics. I'm going to imagine how in the world they're going to keep Justin Jackson from talking about politics. And we'll have a hangout, and if he might show it up in a hangout, just so we can spend 2 hours talking about the election.
Well, that's good. That's why I like him. What was I going to say? I was going to say something, and then I've just lost it. Oh yeah, no, Ulysses. I don't know how you'll get your dogs through quarantine, but if you and your wife can make it, you've got a couple of in the backyard for you.
Mute your mic, Ulysses.
Oops.
Did you hear me? I was saying I've got spare hammocks, so if you and your wife can come around, you can camp out in my backyard.
Yes, but I got to get your dogs to quarantine.
Yeah, and you won't. Johnny Depp couldn't even get his dogs into Australia. He tried. So that sucks. But I mean, you're only looking at Canada. What about South America? Why do you have to stay in North America? There's lots of lovely places in South America.
There is, but
You still got
I'd have to learn a whole nother language.
So?
And Canada recognizes my electrician's license, at least in the union.
Okay, right.
Canada would be the best shot for you, Ulysses. Definitely Canada. And because they've got the kind of a government that we both want. So Canada's got to be pissed off. I mean, Canada's got to be really pissed at the United States now. Because Canada's big on climate change. And I've seen these idiots in Washington, man, and now what's the story? So the Canadians got to be probably almost as shocked and upset as we are.
In completely unrelated news, as you can see, Chelsea's stopped attacking me now. She just needed to do a really big poop. Once she went to the potty, she was fine.
That's funny. My dogs do that to me too.
I didn't know what got into her. I'm like, you haven't, not that I really give her sugar or anything, but I'm like, you haven't had any sugar? What the hell? She was just going crazy. That carrot I took to the eye, that still hurts. Anyway, but yeah, she's good.
Is her weaning process going better for you? How long do you think it'll take before she's completely weaned?
Oh, I don't know, another 10 years or so. Yeah, no, it's all right. Like I do it if I need to be quiet. I'll just stick my boob in her mouth, which is probably a bad habit. No, you're not having booby now. You can have formula.
Cuddle.
You can have a cuddle, yeah. See, a lot of the time she just wants a cuddle, and she doesn't necessarily want the boob. So, yeah, come cuddle. I can always cuddle you. I'll cuddle you all day, every day for the rest of my life if you let me. Yeah, and I'll give her a boob at night because it helps her go to sleep.
Baby.
Not booby, no. Boobs are off duty. No. Formula. No. No. Formula.
Yeah, boob at night helps everybody sleep.
More. More. More.
Yeah, you can have more formula. Yummy. And I can even make it strawberry flavored. I can't do that with my booby juice.
Strawberry.
Yeah.
Whoa. So I did the math. If she wins every state that she doesn't even she's seven electoral votes shy of clinching the presidency. Unless North Carolina or Florida flips. And Florida is reporting 199.5% in. And Ohio is reporting 82% in. New Hampshire is 60% in. 62% in. She really needs to win well, showing she's winning New Hampshire. Oh, that's Massachusetts. New Hampshire's 59% in. Oh, and she's only trailing by 1,400 votes. 14,000 votes. If she wins New Hampshire, she's won this race. But that's a big if. And she's still got to win Michigan if she wins Michigan. If she doesn't win Michigan, it doesn't matter. She needs to win New Hampshire and Michigan to win this race. Oh, well.
Think of all the polls. Could you mute your mic, Ulysses?
Oh, yeah. Is it still?
Think of all. I mean, there wasn't a single poll I read that said Trump could win. Not one. It shows you. I mean, there's got to be. I imagine there might be a lot of people employed in the poll taking business who might get fired tomorrow. Yeah. So it's what?
So when will you know?
I'm going to guess another hour or two it'll be practically official, but with some of these states being so close, and with, I think, almost a recount guaranteed at this point, it's not going to be official with recounts because some of the races are so close. I'm going to guess it won't be official for a couple of days, but at this point in time, it's pretty much over. It's going to take a miracle for Clinton to win at this point.
Well, what's bad is there's no opposition in Congress. So right now,
it's completely Republican.
Anything Trump wants to do, he's going to have.
There I disagree.
No, I'm pretty sure of it because look, they're going to want the primary to the right from now on because he's going to say, do what I want or I will kick you from your office, and I've shown it by beating all my other opponents now. So he'll get pretty much what he wants. It's just a matter of time.
I'd say the complete opposite. They don't want him running the party from here on out. The Democratic leadership in Congress does not want Donald Trump. They don't want him. And so they will not enact whatever legislation. He doesn't automatically get a free pass. I think it's just the opposite. The people who are going to assert them try to assert themselves.
Yeah, but you've got to remember
Ryan
he's got the mandate
Democrats.
right now.
So I think they will not go along with Trump. What's going to happen? That means the 2018 election in 2 years is going to. That's going to be another tipping point. What happens in 2 years? If in 2 years the trend continues to go right, then what you're saying, Ulysses, comes into play. The United States becomes a government with a weak central government, and most issues decided by the United States may become more isolationist, perhaps.
Possibly, but I still think you're wrong. I think he's going to get a lot of things. There's not going to be the votes to override to cancel any of his.
Besides stopping immigration, what does he want?
He's going to. Well, I don't know, because he's not smart enough to have any plans. So he's going to just make up stuff as he goes along. Other than canceling Obamacare, which he's just going to turn it back over to the health industry. So
I mean, you think of what Congress wants. Is there anything where Obama and Congress are going to fight over? Because the only thing, I mean, he does, immigration, anti-immigration. Well, Congress is going to be against immigration. So I don't know. I suspect
they're not going to fight over a lot. He wanted a bigger military, and Republicans want a bigger military. And it's the largest military we already have. So it's going to get bigger. They don't want immigration. They don't want any Muslims at all. So that's going to end. You're going to get rid of health care, which is a big issue here. Big thing. A smaller federal government. So say goodbye to the National Science Foundation. Anything that will do any kind of research. Any climate change agenda is going to go out the door. He's going to repeal the carbon tax, whatever kind of clean energy, that's going to go away because he's already pro coal. He says climate change is a hoax. So say goodbye to future generations. It's for the next 8 years, it's going to suck. That's all I got to say.
I won't say it. Well, it's going to suck for a lot of Americans. Yes, it's going to suck for too many Americans, depending on the state you live in. That's going to be a big thing. It's now what state do you live in? If you're in California, it might not be too bad. If you're in all those blue states, it may not be too bad. If you're
look,
if you're looking
it
for
doesn't
healthcare
matter.
and stuff like that.
If we're not unified, it doesn't matter. It won't matter. I mean, there's enough. If he's got the popular vote, it doesn't matter. You've got people who are racist, who don't care about minorities, who don't care about the poor. America is not evolved at all, and Pam is rightfully so to criticize us with our poor choices. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, but again, it's individual states having the authority and the control now. So it comes down to what state you live in. And California, Connecticut, fine. Move up to Connecticut, Ulysses. I don't know what our unemployment rate is, but there are some states that will be okay. Another thing is, don't forget, with this election, the Democrats now got to look themselves in the mirror, and unless they're completely insane, They have 2 years to get their act together. Now they'll have 2 years to criticize a Republican government where the Republican government has problems. So the Democrats got 2 years to get their act together. You have the Congress,
Ed, you say that like Democrats have a fair shot of winning elections, and they don't. They're gerrymandered, and they don't. It's not going to happen, Ed. I don't know what you're smoking, but please share with me. And Paul Krugman just tweeted. Paul Krugman, a man who's got way smarter than we are. He said, "There's no way there's honest opposition to the majority of power. There's just no way."
Come on, Willard. You're not saying it's rigged. It's all rigged.
If you suppress voter voter registration, and if you gerrymander districts, yeah, it's kind of rigged.
Well, let's see. Were there more voters? That's something to look at. Did voters come out? If voters didn't come out, you can look at that. And again, I think the Democrats have 2 years to get their act together. I don't know that they will.
No, they're not. The Democrats can't. They can't do it. They can't do it if they can't. When the only way the Democrats have balanced power is because they've been control the federal government. They can.
Wait a minute. You're saying that they can't win. They won California. They won. They're winning Pennsylvania, Illinois. Of course, they can win. Florida could flip back the other way. You don't think you don't think that could happen in 2 years?
No, it's just not going to happen. And I think you're overly optimistic, Ed, like always.
Well, of course, I would say for anybody who's watching us, pay no attention to what we're saying, because neither one of us thought Trump had a chance.
Yeah, neither one of us had Trump thought.
You're looking at two clueless people there.
It looks like Trump won Washington State. Wow, Hillary doesn't even have a chance. Oh.
Well, I put in a spin on it. Okay. Hey, the Democrats picked her.
Democrats picked. Well,
I did. You know, I warned them. I told them. I said, you don't want to put Sanders in.
Well, I tried. I picked Sanders.
Maybe the Democrats can start cleaning house now.
I don't know.
Who else do we have on the Democratic Party? You won't have. I think Clinton loses this. She's out. That's it.
Yeah, she's out of power. Nobody's going to vote.
She's out. So who do you have? You certainly got Sanders. Who the heck? I don't know. Well, Harry Reid is retiring, and he was a Democratic leader. So I'm not sure who the young Democrats are.
Michael O'Malley that ran, and then you had
Michael O'Malley. Who's he?
So we had Michael O'Malley, and then you had what's his name? He was a senator, but he's more conservative than anything. Why he was in the what's his name? So Sanders would have been the best choice. He was the populist choice.
If Sanders, now big if, because we have no idea what's going to happen with the government. I think it's going to get worse. It might get better, but 4 years. If he's there, Sanders gets the independent vote, and we get Bernie Sanders as president in 4 years.
I don't think so. I think, I'm not ageist, but I think that his age is working against him, because is he 74 now, so he'll be 78. People don't look at it at a 4 year, they look at it as an 8 year thing. So then you're looking at 86 when he finishes.
Yeah, but he was winning the millennials. He wasn't winning
Yeah, at 74, yeah. Is he going to win him at 78?
Well, what we needed to do is stop Trump. That's all you needed to do. It doesn't matter in 4 years. Michelle Obama could run.
I'm more concerned about the Democratic Congress than I am with the president. Now, I can't. I'm worried about the president because the president controls foreign policy. President can send American soldiers overseas. That's man. I don't know. That's a big worry right there. That's the biggest concern for me personally with the Trump presidency. Is this is the guy now in charge of our foreign policy. But man, just that thought has sent me speechless. Okay. Well, this president.
Well,
Ronald
they're
Reagan.
predicting a 700-point drop in the Dow now.
Oh, yes. There's you poor investors. Ronald Reagan, well, he was 77 and 349 days when he left office.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Leaving office, yeah. But starting office at 78. That's what I'm saying. I'm not ageist. I'd vote for him. It's all good. But I just wonder if that's going to have anything against him. That's all.
Well, since as Ulysses mentioned, he actually had the younger voters, the millenniums, support. And he could still have that. It depends on his health. It really comes down to his health. And now, look at me. now 70 is the new 50. I agree with you. The odds are.
So what about gay marriage now? Since
states will decide.
Yeah, but the federal government doesn't have to recognize it. Well, I don't know.
It's going to be the states because the Republicans and the Tea Parties, they want the states to decide.
The Republicans in Congress will probably try and pass a law banning gay marriage because what they'll do is they'll take it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will say, you have to recognize it between states, but then the Republicans will still try and block it. So it's just going to be quagmire.
It'll be far more complicated. I don't know. I'm guessing gay marriage is fine. Will stay. Well, that will stand. But again, it's going to come down to individual states, and it's certainly possible that if an individual state comes out against gay marriage, people will sue. It will go to the Supreme Court. And now with Trump picking the next one or two justices, you're going to have a conservative Republican court. The only thing is, a lot of conservative Republicans have no problem with gay marriage. So in Congress, you may not see any.
I don't know who you're talking to, but that's not the case here.
Ryan's not opposed to gay marriage. Not opposed to. He is willing. He's in favor of allowing gay people to get married if they choose to. And I'm going to guess, could be wrong, you could be right, the majority of Republicans say it should be legal for a gay couple to get married.
Well, it is 11:30. I got to work tomorrow. Ed, I can't even hear you.
I think it's pretty much over anyway.
You're muted.
I think that the way things look, I will be pleasantly surprised if I wake up tomorrow morning and find out Hillary Clinton is president. I would be very pleasantly surprised, but I would be surprised. Then again, I went to bed last night saying I'd be really shocked if Trump was president. So
yeah. Well, I'm sorry you guys didn't get the criminal that you chose. You got the other criminal instead.
She's a lot less of a criminal than you think she is.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about that. I might be with Pamela on that one.
Yeah, I just think that they were, you know, people lacking criminality to vote for, and they didn't get the votes. So that says a lot about the public. Like, you have choices. You had choices. But anyway, yeah, no, it still sucks to not get the criminal you wanted. And hey, you know, I mean, criminals are it's subjective, isn't it? It requires context. I was talking about this with someone the other day. Just for example, in Queensland, we are getting medicinal cannabis as of March next year. But at the moment, marijuana is illegal in Queensland. Yet in South Australia and Australian Capital Territory, you can grow your own to a certain extent. I think it's the maximum 2 plants or something. So you might be a criminal in Queensland, but you wouldn't be a criminal in South Australia or, you know, Australian Capital Territory. So, you know, there's different levels of criminality. I understand this.
I would have liked to see the first female president. Oh well, maybe not in my lifetime.
Michelle Obama will be. She's going to be a female black president.
She might not run.
She might not run? Why not?
I don't know.
In 8 years, maybe.
Yeah, I think she will when her kids are grown up. Yeah.
Let's get it over to Penny's place before they get back.
So
maybe she'll close Guantanamo Bay.
Okay,
she made a good case for Hillary, and still couldn't win. So anyway,
okay, Pamela, we've got the government that you've got, and you seem to be hanging in there. So
but her government doesn't invade other countries or threaten to use nukes.
Oh yeah, we're in Syria at the moment, and we shouldn't be. No, the main difference I think between USA and Australia right now is population. We have 24 million people, so we don't have the population to have the impact that you guys have. Although we do have a lot of uranium here. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're not out building nukes and stuff as far as I know. Yeah. That's the main difference. So basically the population of Los Angeles is the population of my whole country.
You know, if anything, the United States has been better at climate change initiatives than Australia has, right? With your barrier reef.
Yeah, with this government, yeah. With the previous government, we were good. We were pioneers in making differences. But this government's terrible. Are we hanging in there? Oh, just barely. I'm looking at where to move to, though. New Zealand's just too cold, though.
You can move in with us.
No, I don't want to go
as long
there.
as you pick up the poop.
Trump, you just got Trump. Why would I come to the US?
Well, you know, as Ed's pessimistic, he said we can have Michelle Obama. So, you know.
In a while, 8 years or so, yeah. Yeah, see, I'm not even put off by the earthquakes of New Zealand. I think that'd be all right. But I don't like the cold.
Yeah, I don't like the cold.
Is it cold where you are, Ulysses? It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. We have snow here. Not like Ed does. Ed gets real snow, but we get snow here.
Yeah, but I live in the tropics. Like, it's beautiful.
But the seasons are great, and you don't have to worry about poisonous anything, really.
Oh, pussies. It's not that bad. I had a spider bite on me the other week, actually, and I was feeling quite sick, but it's gone now. It's all right.
No, it's all right. I almost died, but I feel good now, so it's okay.
No. I just had a few days where I was just feeling a bit yuck, and I didn't know why. And then I was washing. I didn't go to the doctor or anything. No, formula. And I know I've got boobies, but you're having formula. No.
They're like, no, you're too old now. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Go make breakfast.
Yeah. She's not really crying. She's just pretending. Cuddle. I will cuddle you, yes, but no booby. What was I saying? Yeah, spider bite. Yeah, and so I was in the shower and I was washing and I went, ooh, that's a bit sore. And it was kind of on a part of my hip that, like, I wouldn't look at unless there was a reason to look at, because it's kind of, over there. And so I sort of pulled my hip around and went, ooh, spider bite.
Well, see, we do have spiders. I've been bitten by them, but they don't make you sick. They hurt. And we do have copperheads, but you have to be out in the woods. They don't come near your house.
Yeah.
Rattlesnakes will tell you they're around, so they're a lot better than copperheads. But that's all we have to worry about.
Yeah. Now, snakes are good. They keep the rats away. We have snakes.
We only have to worry about really rabid animals. And
No, we don't have rabies here.
ticks spreading
Yeah,
from our dogs onto us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see, we don't.
rabies and deer. Deer will kill you.
Yeah, I know. I read something about how many deer like kill you compared to other things.
It's mostly you run into deer across the road while you're driving.
Yeah. Well,
That's
they're
how
like
you
our
die.
kangaroos. Kangaroos jump out in front of your car and kill you here. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, we don't have rabies here. And we do have the paralysis tick that kill the dogs, but we don't have Lyme disease. Ticks don't kill humans here.
Why would you want to leave then?
The government. I thought we just went over that.
Oh, it's not as bad as our government.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, actually it is. Yeah.
You know what? I'd go to, I mean, if you're looking at government, Finland. Finland is the best.
Yeah, but it's too cold
And I've
for you
read
there.
about it.
Finland,
But it's
Iceland.
freaking cold.
Is Yanni single? I could marry Yanni.
There you go, Yanni.
He's single. He's into high tech. He's in what, in the video, everything.
Oh, I just meant for citizenship. I didn't.
No.
Well, you know, we might hit it off. You
You
know.
never know. I mean, just because it's a language barrier.
Yeah, I don't like men to talk anyway.
Why are you talking to two men then?
You know what I mean.
On that note,
In that.
see you guys.
Okay, I'll see you, Ulysses. I'll end the broadcast.
It was nice talking to you, making me feel better about this horrible night.
Me and Ulysses are going to go off and get ourselves drunk tonight. So.
Yeah. You don't drink it.
I gotta work
I
tomorrow.
don't. I don't.
Well, I had
Well,
my two.
I might now. I might now.
Like, I take out drinking.
Just end it now. Just do it.
Oh.